going to be talking about some incredible things today. We are talking about legal myths and facts because you know what? Our justice system, well, there's a lot to it. And a lot of people think they know, but they don't really know. For instance, what if you plead no contest in court? Also, sorry, flipping my hair around. I don't know what's going on. What does that mean? Does it mean innocent? Does it mean guilty? Did you know it means guilty? That's true. It's one way of pleading guilty. Just talked to somebody the other day, and you know what? He didn't know that. And, well, that's an interesting mirror. Okay, that's cool. We're going to try a new light. So he pled no contest and didn't realize what that would do to him. Well, it didn't do good things, let me tell you right now. Yeah, so these are the kind of things that we want to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up chat on my computer so that I can talk to you and be here at the same time. So the video that's going to come out tonight on the Jen Hardy Show channel is 10 myths and facts. So I thought, hey, we would talk about some more of those here live with you and find out what questions do you have? What concerns do you have about our legal system? People have a lot of concerns, especially today. There's a lot of things going on out there. They're changing very rapidly, aren't they? And what we thought was true yesterday may not be true tomorrow. But we can talk about all the different things. And let's mute this computer so it's not talking to you. So, different things like no contest. I always thought no contest meant that you weren't saying guilt or innocence. You were just, it was kind of like pleading the fifth. It's not. It's not at all. In fact, no contest is another way of saying you're guilty and you don't really want to say it out loud. It's true. Now, it can be a good thing to plead guilt or no contest sometimes, and I can tell you how that is. So, let's say, God forbid, you get in a car accident and you get a ticket for said accident and you plead no contest to the ticket. What that does is it protects you later if there's a civil suit from the other person in the accident, because if you plead guilty to the ticket, the person that you crashed into, they can say, well, clearly they were guilty, and they'll win their civil suit. All right. Also, don't take my word for the things like if you have a legal case, please consult a lawyer. We are just talking here. I am not a lawyer. I don't play one on YouTube, but these are things that I've learned and it's fun to talk about. So here we go. What other things do you guys have questions about? What other things? I don't know. Do you know that other people might not know? Oh my gosh. What fun facts about the judicial system do you know? Or do you want to know? I have so many questions for you. Last time we went live, we had such an engaging conversation. We were talking about the RFK thing. Oh my gosh. And the hearings, you know, those were a lot of fun. Hey, Mr. Hardy is here. That is so cool. We would love everybody to step on in and chat. Hey, for those of you who are new, we are talking about the United States judicial system, not in a boring way, myths and facts. Different things that people think are true that may or may not be true, and knowing them ahead of time could really save you. I'm not an attorney, but it is still fun to talk about them. If you are in a legal situation, please pay a qualified attorney. But for tonight, we're just going to talk about these things. Like gavels. We have a gavel right here. Gavels are fun. Honestly, they are. Kind of get kids' attention. Not going to lie. But did you know they don't really use them in court anymore? They get them as a gift for their graduation and don't use them. Oh my gosh, David, you're not live. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're live too. Well, I got to jump off. Oh my gosh, I can't be live while you're live. That's not cool. Also, for those of you here, Davidson's All Natural Gym, you should jump over there. I'm not going to lie, he is incredible. Because we're going to put a pin in the legal thing for a minute. Davidson's All Natural Gym is not the kind of gym you're thinking of. No, he's a sawyer. And for those of you who don't know what the word sawyer means, it means, you know, somebody who's like cuts down big trees and makes tables out of them and does all the things. And he has some incredible things going on. And they have a whole conversation about it live. And he gets all of his friends together and it's very interesting. And I must say, he does have one of the most beautiful channels I've ever seen because he's just really good at it. You know what? I don't say who I support one way or the other. That's one thing about the Jen Hardy Show is I interview judges, lawyers, legislators, and ex-convicts here on this channel. You can find all those interviews and even the people that are elected and are one party or the other, they don't get to talk about it here. Here, we just talk about things and, we have good conversations about it and keep the conversation interesting, but we're not going there. But I tell you what, if you want to talk about any president or elected official that is polarizing, scroll ahead and you'll find 10,000 channels that are. Okay, but we're talking about court myths and facts. For instance, well, like we talked about, if you plead no contest in the US, it means you're guilty to the judge, just so you know. Oh, actually, you know what? Well, we can talk about, did you know, there's another word, actually, somebody told me I'm not supposed to use ex-convict, but the people who have been on here, they refer to themselves that way, and a bunch of other ways. There's formerly incarcerated person or free person now. I don't even know, you guys. Sometimes the political correct thing gets me crazy. So anyway, I just want you all to know that my husband and producer is also a moderator. So play nice in the chat, because otherwise he'll ban you. That's just kind of how this goes. Yep, there it goes. Because we have a lot of fun doing this kind of thing together. So does anyone have a legit question, though, about court? Did you know? Okay, here's a question you can answer in the chat. Can you be charged with a crime if there's no physical evidence? Inquiring minds want to know. That is a very interesting one, I think, because sometimes people think, well, if you don't have physical evidence, you can't be charged with a crime. Or there's cases where there is physical evidence and people don't get, convicted of the crime. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. That was an interesting case, wasn't it? We can talk about that case if you want to. Oh my goodness, I remember that one. That was a lot. I would love to vote for George Washington. I'm going to say, Sophia, I'm with you. If George Washington ran today, that's a politician I could get behind. Let's say that. All right. So yes, you can be charged with a crime even if there's no physical evidence. It's true. So, he accidentally carried a concealed handgun. Yeah. So, fun fact, I know somebody that carried an expired, had been used, but still was a shell of a grenade through an airport. That was the thing that they did. And they got on the no-fly list for a year. So there you go. They don't play at the TSA. It is a thing. Also, have you guys been to the airport when the dogs are there? Because when it's high security, they have the dogs out. You got to walk by the dogs. I'm not going to lie. They're a little bit intimidating. Just saying. Yeah, that is a thing. In fact, I just came back from Vegas last week and there were dogs in the airport. But anyway, somebody who get charged without physical evidence. Well, if you have, let's see, I can read you the thing because I've got the things right here. It's really interesting. So if there is enough circumstantial evidence, witness testimony, or even digital records, that can be enough. Now, digital records, you might think that that would be like physical evidence, but if 5 people all come and say, hey, they saw Joe over at the thing doing the thing, yeah, you can go to jail. It's a whole deal. And also, I have dogs, and they're barking now. Somebody's going to come get them in just a minute. This is my house, though. I did leave the studio because I always go live from there, and it's kind of boring. So today, we're sitting in the kitchen. But, I'm not a lawyer, and I will say that every 5 minutes. If you are in a legal situation, dear goodness, hire a qualified attorney. We are just talking about legal things for fun. All right. So yeah, absolutely. You need to get an attorney if you are having legal trouble. But we can still talk about it. All right. Here's a good one. Is it true that you have a right to a free phone call? One phone call after being arrested. Is that a right everywhere in the United States? Inquiring minds want to know. Until tonight, I thought I knew the answer to that question. And I have learned it's not what I thought. So yeah. And welcome everybody who's watching. We are talking about legal myths and facts. I am not an attorney, but this channel, we interview judges, lawyers, legislators, and formerly incarcerated persons. And the people they're incredible, by the way. Michael Santos and Justin Paperny, if you want to go check out their interviews, they have both been in prison, different kinds of prison. Michael Santos was in solitary confinement for a full year and then did 26 years and Justin Paperny was in the white-collar prison. And they both have a lot to say about crime, going to jail, and the whole thing. Dan Ruby got put in jail with no phone call. So here's the thing about the phone call. It depends on the state. Some states allow you multiple phone calls. Some states don't allow a call right away, and some allow the one call. So there you go. Who knew? A lot of things in different states are different. We've lived in like 5 different states, and it's amazing. Now, I don't have arrest records in any of those states, so I can't tell you about that. But yeah, there's a lot of different laws between the states. All right, so for those of you who are new, we are talking about legal myths and facts with me, Jen Hardy. I am not an attorney. We are just having a discussion. So if you have questions, put them in the chat, and we'll talk about it. Let's see. All right. Ooh. Can you sue anyone for anything and always win? I feel like that's a ridiculous question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I think we'll just ask, can you sue anyone for anything? Is that a thing in the United States? And that's true in the UK, the phone call. Oh, that's interesting. And welcome from the I'm going to the UK in May, by the way. That all rhymed and that was really weird. Okay. I am going to also interview some people in the United Kingdom and in Germany in the legal system in May, which is going to be interesting, kind of compare and contrast it to here. So the question is, can you sue anyone for any reason in the United States? And the answer is yes, if you can find an attorney to represent you or fill out the proper paperwork, you can sue anyone for anything in the United States. Now, is a judge going to accept it? Are you going to win? Well, that's all up in the air, but you can file cases. Hello to everyone who's new. This is so much fun. We are talking about legal myths and facts. And in the United States judicial system, I am not an attorney. We are just having fun because we talk to a lot of judges here. There's a lot of interviews with judges. So if you found me in the shorts feed and you're just swiping by, check out the Judge Simpson interview that's at the top of my channel. He's pretty amazing. All right. Ooh, here's a good one. Myth or fact? Police need a warrant to search your car in the United States. So, yeah, that's a question. I don't think you can sue yourself for anything, Jeremy. I don't know why you'd want to, but it is a fascinating question to keep the chat going, and I do appreciate it. Because as long as you give a comment that is PG or above, because if it's, or PG or below, because if it's above PG, you know, my mod's gonna kick you out. It tells YouTube that you like this. So, you know, you just keep those comments going. PG, please. And we are talking about legal myths and facts with a non-attorney who interviews judges wearing glitter and sequins. It's a weird thing, but it works. So here we go. Do police need a warrant to search your car? Guess what? They don't. Not always if they have probable cause. So we used to live in a town in Tennessee. I will not name the town, but I will tell you that those police like to pull everybody over and search their car and rip it up a bit. They were known for that. So it was a whole thing. Okay, is it legal for police to accuse you of something without having legit evidence? Well, and Kay, you were right. It is legal to search if they have probable cause. Well, here's the deal. The words legit evidence would be a subjective term. So if the police felt like they did have evidence that was probable cause, yes, they can accuse you of something. And then that's up to the courts to iron it out. Did you guys know that like 90% of cases that go to court are settled by plea bargains? That's a whole thing. There's an interview with Judge Fleischer, and he talks all about that. So this is not a non-legal person telling you. You can go and check it out. But yeah, 90% are plea bargains. Also, listen, if you're innocent of, I'm not a lawyer, so get a lawyer if you need one. But here's the thing. If you go to court and you need to not take a plea bargain if you're innocent. Just talked to somebody the other day who pled no contest, not realizing it meant guilty, and then took a plea for something that was a pretty nasty thing. And guess what? Now that's on their record. So get a good attorney. This is the advice. The only legal advice I will give you is get a really good attorney if you have any kind of situation, because it's important. Hello to all the you who are new. We are talking about legal myths and facts in the U.S. judicial system, just for fun. I'm not an attorney. I interview judges, lawyers, legislators, and formerly incarcerated persons. And yes, that is pretty funny. I used to be a fan, but now I'm an air conditioner. I love it. Anyway, if you have questions about legal things, you can ask me. I am not an attorney. I can give you my best answer. And then if I don't know, can they charge you for driving a vehicle that's stolen, but you were never driving in the first place? That just seems to come out of the blue. Well, if you're in the car and the car is stolen, there are charges that they can, bring against you. So there you go. Don't be in stolen cars. That's the lesson from there, right? Also, I just don't understand people doing things that would get them in prison for real. It's a true story. So we did a thing about Martha Stewart. Do you guys remember? Well, it's way before your time, but Martha Stewart went to jail because of some insider trading. And she was a multimillionaire at that point, and she risked going to prison and did go to prison for 5 months for $200,000. Tell me in the chat, would you do something to get you in prison for $200,000? Because personally, I wouldn't do anything that got me a day in prison for any amount of money, not a place I want to go. So she did make money while she was in. The gentleman, Michael Santos, that his interview is here on this channel, he spent a year in solitary, 26 years in prison. He left prison as a multi-millionaire owner of many businesses by the time he left, because he took advantage of their system where you get to go to school. He got his bachelor's, his master's, and half of his PhD. Oh my goodness. Hey, Ashton. Okay. I absolutely agree with you. I don't think, no. So for those of you who are just joining us, we are just talking law with a non-lawyer. We're just talking for fun. My only legal advice to you is pay a professional if you have legal trouble. Okay. Well, Ashton, that sounds like a good plan for you. As long as you keep the conversation PG, keep on talking, and we would love to chat with you. All right, so let's come up with another legal myth. Hey guys, here's a thing. Let's see. Can you be arrested for resisting arrest if you didn't commit a crime? So let's say that you're just out there, someone near you commits a crime, and you're like, you're not arresting me, and take off. Can you get in trouble for that if you didn't do anything leading up to it? Can you speak freely however you want to with the police if you're upset, as long as you don't verbally or physically? Okay. I don't know why that got whatever. But anyway, you can speak to the police. You can tell your, Dave, I appreciate you so much. My moderator is amazing, and he's very busy. He's also my husband. Hey guys. If you're new, a bunch of you just jumped in from the short speed. We're talking about legal myths. And the question that we're asking right now, do you know the answer to this? If you have not committed a crime and you resist arrest, can you get in trouble? Just asking. Because yes, I do know the answer, but I want to know if you know the answer. Oh, he didn't. He was just asking a question. So somebody got kicked out, and the question that he was asking, because we thought it was sassy, but it wasn't. What was the question? That's a good one. Okay. Anyway, you can be in trouble. You cannot resist arrest. Whether you were doing something wrong or not, the answer is, yeah, you can go to jail if you resist arrest. Even if you were with people or next to people committing a crime and you weren't, you cannot fight with them. Okay, let's see. She would run the decision by me to... Okay. Now, somebody's asking for divorcing. Now, I can tell you what, I can't give you legal advice because I'm not a lawyer. But the thing is this, if anything, if you are going through something with children and there's a legal dispute, here's the situation. Get a good attorney. For real, get a good attorney. A good attorney will be able to help you and will be able to fight for you, and they know all the things to do. But those cases are really hard, and I'm sorry you're going through it because it just sucks. It really does. And a lot of times, I don't know, judges tend to sway one way or the other. Either they prefer the dads or they prefer the moms. And if you're in the wrong courtroom sometimes, guess what? It sucks. I don't even know what to tell you. So, yeah. No. You know what? No, I believe you can, so Stellar, here's the situation. Get a good attorney. And you know what? A lot of attorneys offer a free consultation. So what I would do, go to a couple of different attorneys, free consultations, and ask them questions. That is a good way to know. And how do you know if you're hiring a good attorney from a bad one? Number one, ask around. Ask people, you like the Nextdoor app or whatever around you, ask them. Although sometimes, yeah, they lie. But yeah, you definitely need a good attorney. And how do you, yeah, this is really good. I would say I would interview several of them, go to their free thing, go check them out, and see what they say. And if you agree with the way they talk to you, that's the one you want to go with, honestly. Some of them aren't going to say the things you want to hear because they're so knowledgeable. And that's a tough one too, isn't it? If you weren't committing a crime, do you not have to provide or tell any personal information, right or wrong? If police go to arrest you, you do need to give them the proper information and you need to comply with what they do. And if you give them the proper information and is in the US, if you're in the US and comply, okay, with what they say, you're going to get off and everything's going to be fine. However, if you fight with them or lie to them or give them false information, those are all other charges that they can bring against you. You don't want to do that. So there you go. Anyway, so I appreciate you all stopping by. This is really cool. Is the same here in the UK? Yeah, okay. I think that's that we're everywhere, right? I mean, whether we like it or not, and maybe you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, you still have to listen to what the police say. And let's be honest, are there a couple bad apples? Yes, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm very happy that there's police, and I will listen to what they say, and as long as I know I'm doing the right thing, eventually it's all going to turn out right. I still have that belief, and for most of the people in our country, I have that belief. For a few people, it's rough. And if you're one of those people, I'm sorry. We're not going to get into the details of that, but if it's you, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, okay, let's go on to something, let's see, another myth. Ooh, here we go. Here's myth or fact. You can't be arrested if you didn't commit a crime. Is that true? We're talking about the United States here. Can you be arrested in the United States if you didn't commit a crime? I know that there are a bunch of people who answer that or who know the answer, unfortunately. But anyway, I will give you just a minute to answer. And I just want to say, hey, thanks for stopping by. This is really cool. I'm Jen. We're chilling in the kitchen. Yes, Kay. You can be arrested if you did not commit a crime. Absolutely. You may look like the person who committed it. You may have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. There are a whole bunch of reasons. Maybe you were with the person who committed the crime, or maybe whatever, and then you have to prove that you didn't do it. There are a lot of you who just stopped by. We're talking court myths and facts here in Jen's Kitchen, and good to see you stop by. I am not an attorney, but I interview a bunch of judges, lawyers, legislators, and formerly incarcerated people. Yes, falsely accusing someone. Well, Anthony, sometimes they think that they have the right person and they just don't. So is it a lawsuit? Yeah. Well, it may be a lawsuit, but it's really hard to sue the police if they've, wrongful, well, not wrongful, but if you were the wrong person, really hard. So anyway, hey, Lizette, how's it going? Good. Glad you're here. And Anthony and B and Linda and everybody and Kay, it's so good to have you stop by. Let's see. How come police don't actually know the law? Okay. Well, see, here's the thing. Some people really have a lot of bad dealings with the police. That is true. I don't know, it's just a thing. I don't know. Sometimes it's where we live. Sometimes it's what we look like, which absolutely is not fair. I think it's a load of crap. I'm not going to lie. I've had a lot of talks with these judges about how unfair things tend to sway. You're a justice of the peace, and in general, everyone's screwed if the system wants you to be. Yeah, well, B, that is a sad fact, right? And we were just talking in my Judge Simpson interview. It's the one at the top of my channel. If you haven't seen it, even if you're not a court person, it's a really good interview. But he talks about that and how, obviously, people of color in the United States are struggling with the law, and not that they're the problem, but they're having a problem. Just want to make that clear. But also people of certain socioeconomic statuses, no matter what their color, no matter what their race, there seems to be more yeah, of an issue there. So just so you know, the judges that I have talked to, every single one of them do want to make things better. The judges that I interview in particular, I choose because they're doing good. All right. And I think it's really important to get the word out that there are people in the judicial system that are working at doing good. Anthony, I appreciate you. It is really hard to have a conversation that I can say the words I can say on this platform and convey my opinion and, so yeah. But all in all, here's my wish. I really wish that everybody, no matter what race, religion, color, whatever you are, could just go about your business and not have to worry about legal things affecting you in one way or the other just because of that. Yeah, I want my children to grow up in that world, and for sure my grandchildren. Good God, let's make it happen, shall we? So, all right. But I think by having these conversations, by letting everybody, talk freely and share their opinions, you know what I mean? I think that's what we need to do instead of, I don't know, getting stuck in the whole, what party are you with? Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, Stellar, let's see. Right, Stellar, this is the thing. This is the thing. And I think for a little while when our country was like, oh, we're colorblind, we don't see it, I think that's also crap. I think we can just love people for being who they are, exactly what they look like and where they came from, right? I don't know. Just saying. So, oh my gosh. So there we go. Yeah. And also, if you haven't seen the Simpson interview, you guys, it's incredible. So I'll just say it. Judge Simpson was the first Black male judge in his county in 1999. He was elected. And then a few of the judges left. He was the only Black judge for a decade. A decade. Now, I don't believe in quoting anybody, but that's wrong. Like, that is just wrong. Do you not think so? I think it's just absolutely crazy. So anyway, I just had to share. And yeah. So Texas, Anthony, you're in Texas. I'm going to Texas next month. I hope I'm going to Texas next month. I don't have my thing yet. What's the YouTube title? Oh, what is the YouTube title? I can look it up and tell you. That's a really good question, because you'd think that I would know it, wouldn't you? But I don't. Because, we have to come up with these titles to get people to click on them, and they're not necessarily the titles. Like, I would be like, Epic Judge Interview, although I would probably say that about all my judges. I interview them because I like them. I really do. I'm having to do like 10 clicks to get to there. Judge Simpson exclusive interview, because Judge Simpson, he is the guy that went viral. So if you guys were watching TV and you saw a guy in Zoom court, and the guy was in court because he was driving on a suspended license, but he was in Zoom court. You shouldn't be driving. Okay, if you're in Zoom court, you pretend like it's court, sit in a chair at home, people. Like, dress nice, not a pot shirt, like, do the thing. No vaping, whatever. Anyway, this guy was driving. He was driving while on a video call with a judge for a suspended license charge. And it went viral. And no one has interviewed that judge ever except one 4-minute interview 6 years ago. And I got his exclusive. And he's a rock star. He is so cool. And he has great things to say. So, Dave, if you could give a link to that, that would be really cool. Because I tell you what, so there's 5 judges I've interviewed, and all of them have come back except Judge Simpson, because I just interviewed him, but he's a rock star. So for those of you who are just stopping by, welcome. We're talking about legal myths and facts in the U.S. judicial system. Sounds really boring, but we're having fun with it. And no, I'm not an attorney. I interview judges, lawyers, legislators, and ex-convicts, or formerly incarcerated people, or whatever you want to call people who have been in prison, but the ones that are doing great things now. Because yes, you can get out of prison and do great things. I think we need to bust that myth too. It's true. And wouldn't you rather live in a world where people do get rehabilitated in prison and come out and do great things? Because that's the world I want to live in. I don't like the idea that people get out of prison and they've just learned new ways to commit crimes. No, I've actually talked to a lot of people lately, because this is my channel, that have been in prison and are doing really good things. And guess what? They're having a really hard time doing good things because they're getting all the hate. So, people who are trying to do well, I think we should encourage them to try to do well, right? That's just what I say. All right, new legal myth. Is it true that double jeopardy means that you can never be charged for the same crime twice? Is that a thing? That was a really good movie, by the way. It was a Judd, not Winona. It was her sister. I can't remember. All right, so let's see. Yeah, you know what? I cannot say your name, but Swagatam, is that what it is? Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. People end up doing the things they don't want to do, and sometimes do the things they don't want to do, and they end up in prison. But you can do better. It's true. You can. All right, double jeopardy. Can you be charged for the same thing twice in the United States? Anybody? Anybody? Guess what? There are exceptions to that rule, and you can be charged in state and federal courts separately, or if new evidence leads to a different charge. So something similar, but it's a different charge, you can. So double jeopardy, not a guarantee, unless you're O.J. Simpson, and then you write a book called If I Did It, whatever. But that's a whole conversation for another day. Whew. Anyway, all right, so those were the myths that I had. If you guys have any legal questions, I'm not an attorney, but that you can talk about in the chat, we can discuss, we can look up. And all I'm going to say, the only legal advice that I give anybody is this. If you have legal trouble, hire an attorney. There you go. We are looking to get a legal sponsor of this channel because I would love to tell you who you could go to. And yeah, we've been interviewing attorneys because I don't want to just give you anybody. I don't think that would be right. So there we go. So let's see, they can make a different charge. Yes, they can make a different charge. It's crazy, isn't it? And then there's civil courts and there's criminal courts, as again, we saw with the OJ trial. Yeah, don't ask an actor to act something out in court. That's a really good thing that we learned from that one, isn't it? But anyway, all right. So now we can talk about things like we're going to Texas. This Jen Hardy show is going to Texas to interview some judges. I have one definite, who is Judge Stevens. If you haven't met Judge Stevens yet, or you don't know him, he's incredible. He is, well, sometimes he seems kind of grumpy. A lot of times he seems kind of angry, and he is angry because he doesn't like when people are out being sassy. But he has the highest rate of people turning their lives around, one of the highest rates in the country. So we're going to go talk to him. He's in Jefferson County, Texas. Possibly going to see Judge Fleischer. If you watch court on YouTube, you will know him. What would you like to know from that judge? What would you like to see? Because I'm going to go down there to Texas and I'm going to do some live interviews with some judges. So also, I'd like to interview some of the people behind the scenes in court, possibly go into the jail and do some filming in the jail. So lots of things are coming to the Jen Hardy show, and I cannot wait to bring you with me. So we'll be going live from there all over the place. Looks like 3 different counties because Texas, as you know, is the size of Europe. So when I say I'm doing a Texas tour, I'm not just bebopping from one town to the next. This is like a full-on trip. We've got a sponsor for that. It's going to be amazing. Got a travel agent that does cruises, and we are going to be telling you about this, and he's going to have some discounted cruises for all of you, which would be amazing. So yeah, that is something to look forward to. So we were going to be doing a cruise. We're going to be putting on a grandparent-grandchild cruise, but we are no longer going to be doing that because Hardy House Media, which is my company, is now putting on an award show. What? For podcasters over 50. It's true. There are podcasters over 50. There are boomers that know how to use technology, and we're going to celebrate the crap out of them with a live show and an in-person gala. So if you are anywhere near Melbourne, Florida, or you'd like to fly into Orlando and stay at the beach for a little while, mark your calendars for March 28th and go to hardyhousemedia.com. You can learn all about it, because it's going to be epic. We're going to have a valet parking cars. We're going to have robots serving drinks. We're going to have the whole red carpet experience, and we would love to have everybody join us. So there we go. That bored people because a bunch of people dropped off. So let's get back to talking about court. All right. So, I do have another myth. Are you ready? Is it a myth or is it the truth? A verbal agreement isn't legally binding. Fact or crap, guys? Is a verbal agreement legally binding in court? We are talking about court myths here. I'm not an attorney, but we're just having fun talking about different legal things. And if you need a legal advice, I will give you one piece of legal advice. Are you ready? If you're in legal trouble, hire an attorney. For real, guys. For real. There's too much crap out there. You really need to do that. Anyway, all right. So, can a verbal agreement hold up in court? Is it legally binding? Anybody? There are no answers. Well, all right. Oh, hi. Huh? Well, you already had dinner. People won't come take my dinner. And I want to eat my dinner, but I'm not eating it while I'm talking to you because it would look really gross, I think, if I just sat here and ate. So, Jeremy, ooh, the written word hurts more. It's true. The written word does hurt more in more ways than one. Am I right? Also, let's talk about, put a pin in this myth thing for a minute while people answer. You know, when you were a kid and people said, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Personally, I feel like that broken bone is going to heal. But things that people say, man, those can stick with you for a lifetime. Am I right? What do you think? Because I really think so. I don't know. Maybe it's just girls. Maybe guys don't cling on to things like girls do. What do you guys think? Words hurt. Words hurt a lot. You know, like I feel like you can tell a teenage girl she's fat once and she's got anorexia for life. She breaks her leg. They said it. She's fine in 6 months. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? The reason I'm saying that, for those of you who just dropped in, we're talking about words, a verbal agreement. Is it legally binding or is it not? They can be legally enforceable depending on the circumstances. Some agreements like real estate transaction and things like that, yeah, for that you need a written contract. You can't go to the courthouse and say that Bob, your neighbor, told you he'd give you his house and fight him for it. Like that's just not going to happen. But yeah, Kay, over years it does break you down. I feel like, yeah, get to know a narcissist real well and you'll find out how bad words can hurt. Am I right? I feel like everybody knows one of those. Woo, yeah. All right. So here we've got a question. Now, Kay, I don't know if you have an equivalent to the Miranda rights there in the UK, but here's a question. Do the police have to read you your Miranda rights? Or is your case automatic? Like, if they don't read your Miranda rights, your case is automatically dismissed. True or false? So in the US, that's like you have the right to remain silent. Anything you can and can't say can and will be held against you in a court of law, yada, yada, yada. So, okay, Kate, you guys have the same thing. Okay. So if police don't read you your Miranda rights, is your case automatically dismissed when you go to court? This is a question. We are talking legal myths and facts in Jen's kitchen. I got a little sign up there. I forgot to take that down. It looks kind of weird. It says something about be nice. Because, you know, we have teenagers. Sometimes they're grumpy. Just kind of a reminder as you're sitting at our kitchen table to be nice. So, as we want you to do in the chat. Okay, so Miranda rights only apply to custodial interrogations. So, like if you are in custody, they have to read you your rights. But if you're not in custody, not a thing. There you go. Statements you made may be inadmissible, but the case can still proceed. So there we go. Yeah. So for those of you who are new, yeah, we're just talking about myths and facts in the judicial system and here in the US. No, I'm not an attorney. So, but we're still talking. We're talking laws. We're talking things. And if I don't know an answer, I won't give it. And I will give you one piece of advice, only one. Hire an attorney if you have legal trouble. For real. For real. You know, yes, we have public defenders. And yes, they work as hard as they can. But let's be real. They have so many cases. So many cases. And let's be honest. People are motivated by what they get out of something. Am I right? So you pay a lawyer a lot of money. He is motivated to work for you. There are some great public defenders out there. I am not disparaging public defenders, but they're not getting paid a lot of money for your case. So, you know, are they going to work as hard as somebody? You know, I don't know. Sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes we got to take what we can get. But if you can hire a lawyer, you want to do that thing. Okay. Ooh. Question. Kind of like the finders keepers rule. If you find something on public property, is it legally yours? I really want to eat this food. It is sitting right next to me, y'all. We're going to have to go pretty soon because I got to eat. It's 10. We were at the hospital today because someone in our family had a medical emergency. And I was very thankful for the hospital that we were at, by the way. They were very nice. There's a hospital by us. They are not very nice there. I don't like them. No, if it's not like an all-out emergency, we're going to drive right past that place to the next one. But the place we were at, wonderful. Mwah, so kind, so gentle. Took care of my family member. We were home in 4 hours. It was amazing. And they had like a slight surgical medical procedure done and everything. So thank you to the hospital. You can claim it after a certain time. Okay, let's find out. Ooh, laws on property. Okay, so here in the States, it depends on where you're at. Sometimes lost or abandoned items, you have to report them. Ooh, and failing to report them could be considered theft. Other times, yes, you can turn it in, and then if it's not claimed by so much time, you can get it. Jeremy, the emergency was that someone swallowed something that got stuck in their esophagus. They could breathe, but it still felt like choking. It had to be surgically taken care of. Did not know that was a thing until today. Also, what I did learn was, and this person does not have any of these things, but people with dementia and Alzheimer's apparently choke on grapes all the time and have that same thing. So, oh, Dave, you're going to admit it was you. All right, it was my husband, Dave. He had a piece of chicken. Yeah, it was nasty. It was scary. Not nasty. It was terrifying. I'm not going to lie. It's one of those things where as a wife, you're like, oh, yeah, everything's great. Let's just go to the hospital. And you're like, oh, crap. Yes, chew better. Eat small pieces of food, guys, and chew them very well. Yeah, because it can stick and then you have to go have the thing. But the people were super nice, I got to say. Although it was really weird. It was really, really weird. So we go to the hospital, right? And because it's a weekend, there's nobody in the surgical unit. And so, okay, first of all, we're in Florida. And if you've not been to Florida, a lot of things got decorated in 1981 and never got updated. For real. It doesn't look old and dingy. It just looks like time stood still. And so we're in the surgical unit that looks like it's out of a movie from 1981, and there's no one there, and all the beds are empty and everything is empty, and there is one nurse sitting there, and it's half of the surgical unit, like the waiting area, is dark, but there's just all these beds lined up on the wall, and it's silent in there. And then I'm in there with my husband, who's going to go into surgery in this ghost surgical department. Can I tell you, it was a little bit eerie. And then he came out into a different place that was just the same way. And some of the chairs are upside down, like it's all like closed down, and yet he's in there. It was kind of creepy. I mean, the people were nice. Thank God the people were nice. But it was strange. It was real strange. Because it wasn't lit up like they were working. It was like no one had been working there, and then boom, they just, I don't know. But thank God they were there. The doctor was there with his daughter, and he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go do surgery. My 4-year-old's going to chill out. Very different kind of hospital, but very cool. So anyway, you work in endoscopy. Okay, so I was wondering why they pushed it down and didn't pull it out. But also there had been a whole lot of, I don't know, guy. It had sat there for like several hours because he is, soldiering up, right? Didn't even call me for 30 minutes. Thought he was joking and did not call me for 30 minutes because he's like, I could get air in and out. Yeah, guys, no, if you feel like you're choking, please call 911. Let's do that. But we have a neighbor that's a paramedic. Is America worth moving to in 2025? And if so, which state would you recommend? Okay, I'm not going to lie. We're not, absolutely. We have friends from all other countries. In fact, we moved to Florida in 2019. And I have children that are now teenagers. They had never had friends that were American because we lived in a very international community. I mean, they knew some kids that were American, but all of their best friends were from other countries. It was very interesting. Dave, we love Florida. There's many reasons we love Florida. But if you're going to move to Florida, dear God, move where there's water. Do not go in the middle of Florida. People are like, Florida man and crazy. Yeah, no, it's because they're too freaking hot. you need to be by the ocean. So we're 10 degrees cooler than everyone. And when people come to stay with us, they're like, oh, this doesn't feel like what people say about Florida. Oh, also, it's a legal thing. Let's talk about Florida man. Have you guys done the thing? You can say Florida man and then put in your birthday in Google and a crime will come up every single time. And do you know why? Oh, okay. Is it Maruku? Okay, it's easier and safety. Yeah, that's what they did. They just bink, and then it was gone. Anyway, okay. The reason that Florida man, and Florida is known for crime and all this kind of stuff, is this. Because in the state of Florida, everything is open. So, like, everything is public record. So everyone who gets arrested, it's public record here. And so in a lot of other states, they try to keep things private, allowing for some privacy. This is the one thing I don't care for about Florida. Everything here is open. So anybody gets arrested, it's public record, it's digitally whatever. And so that's why every single date is going to give you a whole list of people that were arrested. Also, if you communicate with any government office, say via email, that email is public record. True story. So if you, say, are bothered by somebody that lives down the road and you make a complaint, they know who did it every time. Or if you, I don't know, let's say you get arrested and you aren't a fan of the police officer and you make a comment or you make a complaint, they will be notified, but everything is absolutely open here. So, I mean, it's good if you want to have all the information. It's bad if you're trying to be sneaky. Yeah, so you can write a letter and that's not public, but it takes forever. Yeah. We also had someone at the postal service near us stealing letters. I think they've been caught now. That was interesting. So if you sent, like those cards, like a Hallmark kind of envelope instead of a business envelope, it would be gone. It would never get to the person, or it would never get to us. It was a thing. It's over now. So, okay, you know what? This is really good information. Okay, they do that to prevent food. Yeah. Yeah. He got, what is the word? Dave, what is the word? Now I can't think about it. They got intubated today. Yeah. So I told him he needs to lay low tomorrow because that's a lot on your body to be intubated. So anyway, well, this has been a lot of fun. I want to thank all of you guys for stopping by. We've talked about all 10 myths I had and some other things. We've talked about Dave and his surgical procedure today. Well, not really surgical procedure, but hospital procedure. And I've met a lot of new friends. I got to tell you what, if you guys could give a thumbs up, I would so appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, because if you enjoyed this conversation, you're going to enjoy the conversations with the judges. And guess what? We're taking the trip to Texas and you can see what that's about. And I'll go live from there a couple times. So anyway, oh no, this is not you. I'm sitting here with my dinner and I need to eat it because it smells really good. So I'm going to go do that. I will be back on Monday though. And so I would love to see you all here on Monday. And I love you guys. Mwah. Thank you so much for sharing tonight with me. You're amazing.